Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in today's update, we are going to check out Algorand's price chart. But before that, we are going to at first talk about some on-chain metrics. And this is transaction volume. And as you can see, recently we got a decent spike, which is not that bad. However, if I just go on this scale, as you can see, the trend overall has been sort of kind of down. And the last bar is for July, but I think in August we are actually going to see an uptick, which is definitely an optimistic sign. So the overall trend is sort of kind of down, but recently I'm hoping that we're gonna get a bounce. Now, I think the real important sign is in daily active addresses metric. Why? Because as you can see, starting from, let's say, late July, even the beginning of August, we have been in a decent uptrend. And in fact, yesterday we got about, let's say, 49k daily active addresses, which is very, very good. Now, in case that you are a new viewer, you should know that when you look at this metric on this time frame, it may kind of sort of look a bit misleading. Why? Because if I just check the last 3 months, as you can see, prior to this drop, Algorand actually had over 100k daily active addresses, which was absolutely fantastic. So question is, what happened and why did we get this drop? Well, if you don't know what is going on in here, this was actually as a result of TravelX canceling their partnership with Algorand, and it truly is the example of putting pretty much all your eggs in one basket. And I'm saying this because if you check out Algorand's announcement canceling their partnership with TravelX, they said we even went as far as subsidizing the very, very low fees on Algorand. I mean, let's be honest, Algorand is like one of the cheapest blockchains out there at the moment. So I don't really understand why are you even going to try to subsidize the very, very low fees. This, in my view, suggests they just try to keep TravelX so they can have some great looking metrics, which is definitely not the right way to go. However, after canceling their partnership, it seems like that Algorand is trying to bounce back. For example, if you check out their social media, they are now more active and they are trying to present themselves to more and more businesses in order to attract more adoption. So that's definitely not that bad. And in fact, if you just pay attention to what is happening in here, this point was actually the lowest daily active addresses, about 18k back in June 29th. And from this point moving forward, we have sort of kind of been in a decent uptrend. So it seems like that Algorand is trying to bounce back, which is good. But is it enough? I'm going to say when you look at this period, it seems like that the answer might be no. But if we manage to, even like this, start to bounce back slowly but surely, but be overall on the right direction and not put our eggs in only and only one basket, you know what? That's absolutely fine for me. Let's just keep this bullish trend. So overall, in terms of metrics, if you want to only look at what is going on in the last 30 days, everything seems good and optimistic. But in the last couple of months, well, okay, this TravelX partnership canceling really did a number on metrics. However, seems like that right now we are sort of kind of back on the right track. So overall, definitely I would say positive news for Algo when it comes to on-chain metrics. Now, let's go on the live chart and see what is going on, because this is very, very interesting. You see, if you remember the last time that we talked about Algo, I think we were right in here, and the idea was that most likely we are having starting from this point actually and not the highest high, an A, B, C expanded flat due to the lack of having in here an impulsive structure on the upside. And I said, well, okay, this can be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, meaning what? Soon in Algo, we should expect yet another move on the upside in order to take this side, another very strong move. And if we get it, it will be a very, very bullish sign, suggesting, you know what, maybe the final low right in here about 22.5 cents in like very, very short time is in play. By the way, pay attention, this is on 15-minute time frame. Now, why did I say if yet another move up, it will be a good sign? Because if you want to argue that we're going to have our final low around here, then okay, show me off of the lowest low, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in order for me to sort of flip bullish. This specific example is called an impulsive structure. Rules for it are we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4, and in any kind of 5 wave, wave 3 should not be the smallest wave. And for our subwaves, okay, you probably know what I'm about to say in case that you are a regular viewer. 5 up into wave 1, 3, and 5. And for wave 2 and 4, we can have different scenarios. Let's say, sure, WXY into wave 4. And yeah, okay, I guess an ABC structure into wave 2. Now let's go on the live chart and see what is happening. So you see, the idea in Algorand was that if we get another move up, at that point, I'm able to tell you off of the lowest low, this is 5 up into 1, correction for 2, another move up into wave 3, ABC expanded flat into wave 4, and we are having another move on the upside into wave 5, which is a great sign. And I think I even remember saying, if we get another move up, at that point, we shouldn't really be like 100% optimistic, because odds are after completing a 5 wave, what are we going to have? Yep, you guessed it right, a move on the downside in form of a correction structure, and all of that pretty much happened. So you would think that right now I'm going to be like extremely bullish in algo, despite even the recent move on the downside, which even this thing can be part of the bullish process, right? Well, maybe not. You see, for our wave 5, we need to be naturally able to find a 5 wave up, correct? But how exactly are you able to show me a 5 wave in here? Are you going to say that this is a wave 1, correction for wave 2, and then, I don't know, maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into wave 3, correction for 4, another move up into wave 5. In that case, let's zoom in more. Okay, you see, earlier we said wave 3 under any kind of circumstances should not be the smallest wave. And is it the smallest wave in here or not? Is it smaller than 1? Yes. Is it smaller also than wave 5? The answer is also by a decent margin, yes. So this thing, which I'm going to argue is pretty much our best shot at finding a 5 wave in here, is actually not allowed. Meaning what? Odds are this is a correction structure on the upside, either in form of like an A, B, C, or maybe a WXY, generally some sort of a corrective movement. Doesn't really matter a whole lot. So what is it that I'm trying to tell you? Right now, we should consider 2 different counts, and the odds of maybe even a bearish count being in play in algo because of the recent phase on the upside actually kind of increase a little bit. Why? First things first, let's talk about the bullish scenario, and that suggests that instead of this point being the end of a wave 4, maybe right in here is going to be the end of it. And I guess, okay, yeah, maybe you are still to argue that this whole ABC flat down is now into an A leg, ABC up into wave B, and a 5 wave on the downside into our C leg. And by the way, here is a quick point for you. I do think this short-term move down is going to continue, and in it, we're going to take the lowest low down here, about 24.5 cents. Why? Well, let's zoom in more. Okay. So 2 very important points. Number 1, finding a 5 wave in here is a bit of a challenge, and odds are you are having in this structure an ABC zigzag. Excuse me, I just took the right object, which sort of kind of this ABC got confirmed when in this phase down we took this important slow. Point number 2, also in the previous phase, starting from this high to about the low slow down here, I think you're able to find another A, B, C on the downside. So who knows, maybe this is some sort of a correction structure starting from here, meaning what? We can expect another move down in order to take the lows. So for like very short term, you should probably expect maybe like at least another 7% move on the downside. And if this is going to be like an ABC flat overall, then okay, it can be from this high, wave 1, correction for wave 2, another move down into wave 3 to about this point, correction for 4, and we're gonna have yet another small move down into wave 5. And I am really hoping at that point our correction into wave 4 is going to come to an end, and then we get a very strong move on the upside. Now, here's a very important question. How can we say whether this or maybe the bearish possibility, which I'm going to talk to you about in a minute, is going to be in play? The answer is, well, we really cannot say anything for sure, because there is simply no certainty in any market at any given moment. We are only talking about the different possibilities. But here is what I have to say. You see, one way or the other in Algorand, I do believe soon we are actually going to get a move on the upside. But This is a key point. The move up itself doesn't really matter a whole lot. What really matters is the shape of our move. Why? In case that we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a very strong move, that is actually going to be a fantastic sign suggesting, okay, you know what, the bullish count is still in play. On the other hand, if you see a very slow and choppy move on the upside, which is going to take quite some time, and also between our pullbacks down, you're just constantly going to be able to identify overlapping of the waves. You know what? That's actually a very important characteristic of a correction structure, suggesting what maybe the bearish scenario is happening, and this can be at that point a wave 1, correction for wave 2, and what's next? Unfortunately, a decent move down, a strong one into wave 3 and 4 and 5, and in it we may even go and take the lowest low down here once more, about 22.5 cents. Is it going to be such a bad sign overall? The answer is no, because no matter what is going to happen in the next couple of weeks, one way or the other in algo, I am absolutely bullish and optimistic, but you know, it sure as hell is not going to be a good sign in like very, very short term. Now, finally, let's talk about a potential bearish count. And in it, I still believe this is an ABC zigzag. And what do we have in here? 5 wave up, correction down, yet another 5 wave on the upside. This is still, I believe, an ABC flat. So essentially, what do you have? This can be an ABC zigzag, correction down, another ABC up. Essentially, this is a WXY in form of a double zigzag, meaning what? Our move down in algo, unfortunately, is not over yet. So let's have a quick conclusion. Because in the recent phase up, right in here, I'm sort of kind of not able to find a 5 wave, I'm going to argue you need to now be a little bit patient and more careful. And what you should do is this. I think soon we're going to get a move up in algo, but the move itself doesn't really matter, okay? It's very important to understand that. It's actually kind of predictable. What really matters is the shape of our move. If we get a strong move up, great. If we get a correction down, at that point, count on some more downward price action. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Algorand. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time with your family and loved ones. Goodbye.